Okay, what about the fact that the Navy itself has video of something that appears to be what is being described in this patent? And this video goes back to 2004. It's my understanding that you have to file a patent within X period of time. I think it's a year. You can correct me. Within a year of discovery.
That's more or less right with certain qualifications. Really, that's if you do certain activities. If you publish it, if you offer it for sale, etc., then you have a year period to get the patent. If you make it, use it, see it's viable, and don't do any kind of commercial activity with it, arguably you could wait longer to file your patent, as long as you don't run any of the bar triggering things like publication or offer for sale.
Okay, hold on. Let me stop you there, because that's fascinating. So you're saying it's possible. I know it all sounds crazy, but this whole thing is pretty crazy. It's possible that the U.S. Navy could have been flying them around in 2004 on a test basis, and then decides to patent it in forget when these were filed, 2017 initially, something like that. And theoretically, that would be okay. They as long as they didn't make commercial use of it, they could be okay filing for something years later.
They could potentially, as long as all that, pretty much qualified as testing it and development. Yeah, they could wait. They could wait the 10, 15 years to file it.
Of course, you've got an inherent contradiction, because you've got the CTO saying we're testing this, whereas in 2004 they were actually flying it.
Yeah, and I suppose potentially they could have started testing in 2004 and still be testing and perfecting it, and it filed in the in-between time because they think at that point it's viable. Then you do have the question of, A, why did they file the patent? Why did they really want to tell people what they were doing? And B, why didn't they enable it more so that they had a stronger patent that they were issuing?
Yeah, so let's touch on that first question. What is your thinking regarding the fact that the Navy was willing to openly disclose all this in this patent? And isn't it correct that you can file a patent under some type of confidentiality so that it's not seen by the public?
You can file the patent application under a non-publication request so that the application's not seen. Eventually, if the patent issues, it gets published and it is seen. You can't keep it confidential after issuance.
Okay, I never knew that. Okay. So bottom line, if you want the thing issued, it's going public at that point.
Yeah.
And sorry, do we know, did they apply initially to keep this protected?
I did not see that in there, but I did not directly look at the prosecution history to see if they requested non-publication.
Okay, so that's...
I know that would standardly be granted, and it was published as an application, so it does not appear that they requested it.
Now, that's kind of weird, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, and the whole thing could be, more or less a red herring to redirect people's attention here while they're doing something else.
Yeah. Is the government known to do that?
It's the government. They do what they think they can.
I mean, and if that is going on, might that also be an explanation for how this patent examiner working for the U.S. Patent Office changes direction in response to a letter from the CTO from the Navy, where the letter really didn't provide any strong basis for granting it beyond what was already submitted, yet he turns around?
It could be. I mean, from the examiner's standpoint, he may not want to get in bad with somebody higher up on the government food chain than he is. B, if the government really wants the patent to issue, and, you know, from his standpoint, if it's not enabled, it's probably never really a problem because nobody's ever going to do anything under the patent that's going to cause the patent to be litigated or anything.
Yeah.
If nobody can actually make the invention, then nobody can get sued for infringement. It never becomes an issue.
Yeah. I mean, it certainly seems like if it was Joe Schmo creating this in his garage versus the U.S. Navy, backed by a letter from the chief technology officer of the Navy talking about the national security needs of this vis-a-vis China, that the patent office is going to treat one a little bit differently than the other, even though it shouldn't.
It shouldn't, but, you know, that's the reality of things.